And So It Goes is one of Billy Joel's more beautiful piano pieces, and today we'll be learning how to play the intro chord progression, which to some degree is what the entire song is essentially based off of. Here is middle C for reference. Let me quickly demonstrate the first phrase. Let's really briefly have a quick look at our left hand, just so we can get that out of the way, and I'll show you how to put that together with the right hand once we get to that stage. But left hand is going to play C, E, F, and then just E, F, G, and A. Once more, C, E, F, E, F, G, A. Right hand starts with middle C, just by itself. We then play its major third, so C and E together at the same time, while we add our C in the left hand for our bass. This will be done 2 octaves below middle C. So we have just middle C, then the major third with bass. Your left hand will move up and play E in the bass, while your right hand plays a C major 7 chord. B, C, and then the G on top. Together with that E gives us C major 7. Our next chord with the F in our left hand will be, we'll call that an F suspended second chord, which has got middle C again, this G just as before, but this time we have A on top. So our chord now is C, G, A. All together, middle C, C and E together with the C, B, C, G with E, C, G, A with F. From this F chord, we're going to go back to our C major 7, which will also have E in the bass. So this is when we go back to the E in your left hand. So we've got this chord moving back to the C major 7, E, B, C, G, just as before, and then again back to your F suspended second chord. C major 7, F, back to C, back to F. Your left hand is now going to move up to G, while your right hand plays B and G. So here we've got just a G major chord. Left hand will move up again to A, as your right hand plays B, D, and E, which could be some sort of A minor chord with a bunch of suspendeds and adds, or it could be an E7 chord if we're thinking about a cadence, but that is your chord. So A, B, D, and E. While holding down your left hand, after playing it together with your right hand will just by itself play E, A, and C together, giving you the second inversion of an A minor chord. So, from the last time that we play the F chord, we go your G, then B, D, E, with the A, hold that, and then E, A, C. All together, slowly. C major 7 to the F, C major 7 again, back to the F, B and G, then B, D, E, with the A minor second inversion. Our next phrase will sound like this. Again, starting with our left hand, we're going to play B, C twice. So 2 lots of B, C, drop down to E. Then we're going to play around the G. So F, A, G. Once more, B, C, drop down to E. F, A, G. With the B, your right hand will play G and D to give you a G major chord. G, D with the B. Then we play a C major chord. This will be your second inversion of C major, which is G, C, and E, again with C in the bass. So you've got C, G, C, E. Then all we're going to do, as we switch back and forth between that B and C again, is we're going to drop our top note, which is E, move that backwards one to D while keeping your G and C, to get a C add 9 this time, or a sus2, basically the same thing. So you got G, C, D, and then you go back to your C major chord like before, G, C, E. So this chord, drop down, back up to the original C major chord. Together with your left hand, it should sound like this. Keep middle C, get rid of everything else, add G on top, while your left hand drops down to E, giving you just a C major chord. So from the first chord of the phrase, C major, drop back to D, or you drop your left hand to B, back up to C. As your left hand drops to E, you've got C and G together. And then we have this chord with F in your left hand, which is maybe an F major 7 add 9, which is F in your left hand, and you've got A, E for your major 7s, you've got major, major 7, and then your add 9 here in the G. So that chord again was A, E, and G. F in the bass. Take this chord, these notes, A, E, G, and drop each of them back to F, C, and E. So we've gone backwards 2. 2 tones. And that gives you F, C, E with A in the left hand, which is just a standard F major 7 chord. And then we finish this phrase on just a standard 1-3-5 G major. G in the left, G, B, D. So let's run through that again from the C, G, and the E in the bass. We keep the G, add the E, and drop to an A, E, G for your F chord. Move that entire shape backwards, add up to A, left hand, and then G major, F, C, E to G, B, D. Let's run through that entire phrase very slowly, just as we did before, and we will begin with the end of the first phrase on the A chord. So we've got G, D, and B in your left hand, C major chord, drop back and forth with that D, C and G on top, drop down to E in your left hand. Then you've got this stretchy chord, the A, E, G, with F in the left hand. Move that entire shape backwards, F, C, E, with A in the bass, and then G major, G, B, D. That is the first half of the song. The second phrase is somewhat similar. Just as we did at the beginning of the first phrase, we're going to start with middle C just by itself. Now at the end of our last phrase, we finished on this G major chord, and because our hand is already down here on the G major, what we're going to do is play this G on the bottom, E on the top, and have that with C in our left hand for the bass. So this is the real only change in the first phrase, where instead of playing C and E there for your C major, we instead play this G down the bottom. So middle C, then C together with G and E in the right. Everything else up until this chord here will be identical. So we jump up to the C major 7 chord, B, C, G in your right hand with E in your left, up to the F chord, F in left hand, C, G, A. Again, just as before, we switch back to the C major 7, back to the F chord, then B and G with G in the bass. Left hand again moves up to A while your right hand plays B, D and E. And here I believe that I can hear the low E again in the second half of the chord progression, but you can, just to change things up, get rid of it there just for the end of this first phrase, or the third phrase technically. But let's do that again. C major 7, F major with that +2, or add 9, you choose what you want to say. Back to C major 7, back to the F, B and G, dropping down to B, D, E, which is your A minor, E7 thingy jiggy, and then A minor while that holds down. And again, you can either keep the E or neglect it. Your choice. I think that it's there, but use your own ears. Once more, nice and slow from the end of the second phrase. Our next phrase will sound like this. What we have there is left hand playing B, while your right hand plays G and D. C in the left hand, right hand's going to play just E, just the E above middle C. So, just that. If you wanted to, you could add that C here just to thicken up the sound a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's just that. That's what most of the sheet music that I've read has said. As your left hand drops down to E, just as we've done for the entire song, your right hand will play again the C major 7 chord, which once more is E in the bass, B, C, G in the right. Left hand's going to play F in the bass, while your right hand goes back to this F major 7 add 9 chord, which was again A, E and G. A, E, G over F. Left hand moves up to A. Your right hand is again going to take this chord and move it backwards 2 tones to F, C and E, while your left hand plays this A. So this is very similar to what we did at the end of the first half of the chord progression. So back from the F, your left hand then plays G with an F major chord in your right, which we do twice. And this chord in our right is just F, A and C. Again, G in the bass. And then just the first inversion of C major with C in the left, E, G and C. Let's just walk through both of those phrases one more time very slowly, then at the end of the video we can put everything together. So we finished our second phrase on G major. Right hand is going to play middle C, just as we did at the beginning of the first phrase. The only change that we have between the first and the third phrase is that in the first phrase we would then play C and E, but your third phrase is G and E. That is the only difference in the entirety of that third phrase between that and the first phrase. So, G and E. So your C major 7, which was B, C, G, into your F chord, C, G, A, back to C major 7, back to the F chord. You had this G major, G, B, G, to that chord, and then A minor. All of that identical to the first phrase. Then for our fourth phrase, our left hand's going to move up to B, while our right hand plays G and D. We go to C with E in the right hand, straight down to E in your left hand, and we go back to C major 7 chord in our right, so back to the B, C and G chord. So that is a difference there. Normally we go B, C, E, but this time we're going to go just B, C, straight to E with this C major chord, C major 7 chord. Then we have, just as before, this F chord here, the F major 7 add 9, A, E, G, F in the bass, drop that down 2 tones to F, C, E, which gives you more of a basic F major 7, with A in the bass, so A, F, C, E, F major in the right, F, A, C, with G in the left, twice. First inversion of C major. E, G, C in the right hand, C in the left. Alright, let's put everything together. Middle C. C major, C major 7, F chord, switch between the two of those, to the G, and then your A minor E7 thingy to A minor. Switch between this C and G thing. C major to your stretchy chord. Move that down. G major to finish. Second half. Starts the same way. There's your only difference. Everything else is the same. And then this is where it really changes. C major 7, F, F major 7 to the F major over G. Again, C major cadence to finish. Let's run through each of those phrases again, but this time without the commentary. I will need to stop in between each of the phrases to avoid copyright strikes, but here we go. Nice and slow. All we need to do to turn the intro into our verse is to take the chord progression and just play around with the notes a little bit more. The idea behind this is in any empty space with the piano, so like this section right here, we have empty space there. Normally for the intro we just let that play and then we go to this bit. What we can do now is add a little note like the F. So we've got this. And it just fills out that sound and matches along with the vocals. Not only can we use the main progression for our intro and our verse, but if we do it in a certain way and play it up the octave, we've also got our bridge. One chord progression, intro, verse, bridge, technically done. I will be making a video, probably part 3, focused on how to play the bridge of this song, but our next video, which will be part 2, will be focused on the chorus. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in part 2. A.